to that. But Sebastian Jobe is looking like the foreman. The points at the moment, just to give you the update, Kevin Siggy is on 143 points. Sebastian Jobe is on 121. Joshua Rogers on 116. Max Benneker is in 4th position on 99. Luke Bennett is on 97 in 5th. Kevin Ellis Jr. is in 6th position with 92 points. He's dropped back quite a lot over the last couple of races. Then Yuri Toman and Dara McCormack, 82 and 80 apiece. Marcel Chinchik, Kaiki Oliveira, Johan Arndt and Thomas Tatler rounding out the field with 100 and... How many points have we got up for offer today? 150 more. No one's technically ruled out of it because they've got to get to 170. However, if Thomas Tatler doesn't win this race, he is out.
Yeah.
He's kind of out anyway. Yeah. Actually, no, it has to be 125 points because you have to get into it and then go into the final race. Yeah. So he's out.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Not ideal, unfortunately, for Thomas Tatler. So he's racing for pride here at this point. But
absolutely.
I mean, I'm not sure how often we've seen trebles in ESL R1, but Sebastian Jobe.
Here comes the stats.
You know, break him out, Lewis. Obviously, with Sebastian Jobe achieving what could be a 3rd successive race win, obviously off the back of starting in pole position, there's a chance that he could be one of the few drivers to instill a famous treble that could yet lead to him potentially taking a massive turn in the championship, and this could be huge in terms of the World Cup fray, in terms of the driver standings. I mean, just peeling through your
I'm taking a good look. I'm pretty sure Sebastian Jobe was the last person to do it, which was round 1 of the full season online. In person, James Baldwin did actually do it in races 3 to 5 in the spring season major at Munich, of course, to drag himself into contention. That 3rd victory, of course, is what put him into finalist mode. Sebastian Jobe in this, though, is still a fair way away from potentially entering finalist mode. Again, the points leader is Kevin Siggy. Sebastian Jobe is 2nd in the points, and it'll be Sebastian Jobe at the front of the field to take control here. Once more, a brand new circuit for us to go racing at in ESL R1. The safety car drops back and ghosts its way through the back as it returns into pit lane, and it'll be Sebastian Jobe and Kevin Siggy on the outside, Dara McCormack on the inside as we get racing here at the Fuji Speedway. Sebastian Jobe's not gone yet, but now we're moving. It's Sebastian Jobe in control. It could be a red line 1-2 by the time we get down to the first corner. Look at Marcel Chinchik pushing that train on the outside as we head down to the first turn. Dara McCormack's being left for dust at the moment as Sebastian Jobe gets under the brakes, heads down to the first corner and holds onto the race lead. But who's going to be in 2nd spot? Dara McCormack holds firm on the inside as we head through the kink at turn 2. Down towards 3 is McCormack in 2nd.
Great start for McCormack to at least try and hustle back against Kevin Siggy. It looked like Redline had it home and hose with 2 cars up in the top 2, but look further back as we now watch in behind Kevin Siggy, Josh Rogers, incidentally, somehow, some way, up to 4th place. He's got Chinchik now in behind, who goes late on the brakes, trying to keep Benneker at bay, who has lost a feast full of places in his own right, and has got Kaiki Oliveira for company as well. Incredible scenes here as we now peel through the 2nd sector. You can see in the distance as well the 2 ARTs, Kevin Ellis Jr., Johan Half, Luke Bennett losing out to Thomas Tatler.
Yeah, I can't believe, that's a big set coming in from Marcel Chinchik. My goodness, coming down to the turn 10 at Dunlop, he was really sending that one in. But I will say, Joshua Rogers, unbelievable start to get up into 4th position. I mean, yeah, sure, that wasn't a straight line speed. He'd done something right down at T1 and T2, down into the 3rd corner. Has clearly been very brave, but watch as they go out onto the start-finish straight. You could see this Porsche go a little bit slower in a straight line. The slipstream, it should help, especially considering it's a triple slipstream, but I could see him potentially losing out here to Marcel Chinchik. It's a good exit from the final corner as we complete the first lap.
Yeah. Has to be said, absolutely phenomenal march from Joshua Rogers. The world's been up against him, but now this time he's turning the screw. He's in the slip of one Kevin Siggy, already a victor here earlier today, and now this time around it's Rogers who's going to look to open the door, rushing down through towards turn 1. This is a spot on the podium here, but Rogers will try and get the move done home and hose. Can't quite find the angle coming out of turn 1, and very shortly coming out of turn 2, it will be Siggy who withstands the pressure. Luke Bennett looking to do the same against Johan Half.
Yeah, Bennett's now up into 10th position. That was a good move and a good attempt from Joshua Rogers. Didn't look like the Porsche was struggling in the straight line speed there, must be said. Was able to drag it alongside the outside of Kevin Siggy, looking for the move. Looking backwards, though, from Luke Bennett, and we can see the back of Luke Bennett there on the right-hand side in the top right of your screen. This is back up to Kevin Siggy, though. He's got Josh Rogers. Of course, these two, when we were racing at Jeddah, were fighting over the top of the standings. Not that case at the moment. moment, there is a gulf of points between them. I think actually, what, 143 to 116? I can't do some quick maths, but that sounds more than 25 points. There could be more than a race win between the pair of them.
It could well be. Heading through the chicane now before they then venture uphill once again. We're riding on board here with the Porsche Coanda driver, Joshua Rogers, who now peels through over the right, well, through the next right. He's got Kevin Siggy still out in front. Wasn't successful in getting the move done in towards turn one, but I think Rogers could be happy, obviously, of just getting the move done when he did. Of course, the young 24-year-old all the way from Gronau, Westfalen in Australia, who's looking to bring his raw talent and ability from down under, where he would be a successive 3-round victor in the Drivers' Championship, which of course brought him that 100-point start here in this title race. But obviously it's been Redline that have done all the talking here so far in the first 3 races, and Rogers has got to do something to try and silence at least one of them. Siggy, being that said driver, as now Benneker tries to fend off the approaches from Marcel Chinchik, does so brilliantly. The mouse driver now moving up. He's now 5th place here at this point. But just look at this now, side by side. Once again, a little flick through down the inside of Rogers, trying to sell the dummy here, Lewis.
Yeah, McCormack's also closed into the back of Sebastian Job. He's desperate to stop this Redline domination at the moment. All 3 races we've done, as you kind of alluded to there, have been won by Redline drivers. It's been Siggy, it's been Job, it's been Job again. McCormack obviously was leading coming out through the final chicane, of course the Le Mans chicane at Daytona, but by the time he got to the line, he was dropped back to 3rd, courtesy of the Redline Express, as Arjuna coined it. But certainly not the case here, as you can see Mount Fuji there in the background. Deep onto the brakes goes McCormack.
Yeah, got very tight to the back of Sebastian Job. I wouldn't be surprised if there was just the slightest little bit of contact there between the two, as they now fly over the hill and then up again through this next left. Such a soiree in this final sector where it comes to cornering, and you can just see there Job just trying to make sure that he doesn't drift beyond those white lines. Of course, there's plenty of danger, fraught with danger here at Mount Fuji. Further back, we see Joshua Rogers coming through the final corner once more, still in pursuit here of one Kevin Siggy. Siggy, though, starting to detract away from the front 2 as they start to career onwards, so McCormack has been given a little bit of breathing room with a chance in his own right to maybe even challenge for the race lead. Kevin Siggy now being imposed upon by Joshua Rogers as well. This Porsche definitely has found something down this long straight. As now they'll go wheel to wheel, heading down in towards turn 1 again. This is exactly what a carbon copy of what Joshua Rogers attempted earlier on, but this is more successful. He's got every chance. They're going to stay side by side now as they venture down in towards the next left very shortly. Heavy braking zone still to come. Rogers now trying his best to hold on, but still this time Siggy defiant. The man from Maribor fends off Rogers. Fantastic effort there from Siggy to keep the Porsche Coanda driver in behind.
Yeah, it does seem as though going to the outside at T3 is most certainly the preferred line. Getting to the inside is fine, but the outside you can carry so much more speed. It gives the inside going into 100R as well. Perfectly called there by Kevin Siggy to have played those cards. And now we're being joined by Max Benneker, the Gamers 8 champion. Close for the race lead. Did see McCormack didn't want to go for a move down into T1. I don't think he wants to get bitten by the slipstream again.
No, not at all. Obviously, you can get caught out from that. We saw McCormack getting very close to the back of Job not too long ago. Siggy, 1.6 now away from the top. Rogers now 2/10 away of the realm, away from potentially getting into P3, with Siggy determined to stop that from happening. Benneker also lying in wait. Once again, Rogers and Benneker, 2 names that are synonymous when it comes to sim racing. We've had a long-standing rivalry. I must say that was a very uncomfortable exit there for Kevin Siggy, but I think he's done well to at least stay on board and hold on to P3. McCormack trying to get close to the back end of Sebastian Job. Once again, we run on board here with Joshua Rogers, who's going to try and make the move in towards turn 1. He's got to commit to the outside again this time, Lewis.
Yeah, exactly. It's what he's tried a few times. Onto the brakes early goes Dara McCormack once more. What's Joshua Rogers going to do behind all this? As you saw earlier, he was going around the outside. He's tried it once more. Is it going to work this time? He holds firm, but it's not going to be enough. Once again, Kevin Siggy's doing everything he needs to do at the first corner. But what does Joshua Rogers do? He's got to sit behind. He's tried that a few times. It just doesn't really work to the outside. Kevin Siggy knows exactly what he's doing there, and he's playing Josh Rogers like a fiddle at the moment.
He has not changed his strategy in that first sector at all. In the last 3 attempts, Joshua Rogers has had in making that move, and now Benneker might yet decided to throw his own spanner in the works here and effectively take full advantage, get past Rogers and then try and land his own attack upon Kevin Siggy. But just look at this legendary front end we have here. Joe, McCormack, Siggy, Rogers, Benneker, including Marcel Chinchik, as once again, Rogers this time trying something a little different, opted for a potential move on Siggy coming through the chicane, but was not successful, as now once again they come nose to tail, gap thinner than a fly's eyelash, Lewis.
The thing is that where the Porsche is going to be slightly better, at least from what we know, is probably going to be in this final sector. The problem is you can't really make a move like into the final corner, because watch this, you go over to the left-hand side, you really open, look at how open the inside is there.
Yeah.
Two reasons why you can't go for that. Number one is the kind of obvious one. If you take over the position going into that corner, you're almost certainly going to lose it on the way out. Number two, if you commit to a super tight line in that final corner, there's only one place you're going to go, and that is into the side of the other car. That's where there's contact, and that's where there's spin, and the race control will have to step in. Once again, the defensive line coming in there from Kevin Siggy as Josh Rogers is going to get to the outside. Max Benneker's now right in this fight, but he gets onto the brakes early. Josh Rogers sending it once more to the outside as they come out of turn one. But once again, Kevin Siggy so good on the brakes as he wrestles it down towards the apex of T1.
Yeah, again, Siggy adopting that very similar defense we've seen in the prior 3 attempts. It's happened for a 4th time as well. The red line driver is putting absolutely everything out there to defend against the onslaught from Joshua Rogers, who once again is denied in the face of Slovenian Kevin Siggy. Max Benneker might have looked to go 3 wide, maybe even try and spring some kind of trap to break the status quo, but it wasn't to be. Kaiki Oliveira has his own fight on his hands. We saw he and Marcel Chinchik going wheel to wheel, but Oliveira bested him on this occasion.
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's see how things are going to tighten up, though, between this grouping. Can Darren McCormack obviously sneak his way through for what would be, by the way, his first victory since Daytona, right at the start of the full season. He hasn't won since then. He's been on the podium plenty of times, but a victory has eluded him.
And he won twice at Daytona.
Exactly. And to be fair, was closing up to Luke Bennett to potentially take the clean sweep, but unfortunately made, from what we've been told, a bit of a mistake going through the bus stop, but is what it is. Either way, McCormack is trying to close his way up and try and end that drought of victories. Out through the final corner, it is Siggy once more. Surely, though, he's going to take the defensive line, as he has done lap after lap after lap. Still 4 to go at the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Still plenty more to be had.
Doesn't need to take the defensive line.
No, not this time. Not this time at all. Joshua Rogers has got a reprieve. 0.3 of a second between Siggy and Rogers. As they now head down in towards turn 1. As we now take a look at Kevin Siggy's POV on the right-hand side, just see the amount of inputs and the amount of force being fed back through the steering wheel, back into Kevin Siggy's hands as he looks to try and control this BMW M4 around this track, the M4 GT3 that has been a prominent sight here for Team Redline throughout the entirety of ESL R1. And Sebastian Job with the same as well, but this time has a Mercedes AMG GT3 locking horns with him. Currently sat in second, Darren McCormack, all the way from Ireland, and has also proved to be a sharp contender. Definitely one of the, well, definitely the man carrying the flag for Williams, the only driver from Williams, incidentally, that is actually taking part in this, which was actually quite a surprise because Dominic Blyer has been scintillating on the run-up through to this very championship. Of course, last year, when he first entered, I remember it, I think it was Daytona of all places, and he excelled. And many people were saying this is like a clone of Darren McCormack. Yep, definitely can't say bad about any of the drivers that aren't in this race because they can definitely hear us. That's fine. They're all sat in the area. They're all watching and supporting. So if there's anyone you want to talk some rubbish about, make sure they're in the race. It's fine. So they can't hear you.
Exactly. I'm sure the team will probably relay that information, but that's absolutely fine. Who have I never liked? Anyway, back into it though. Sebastian Job, of course, leading down to the first corner, half a second between the top two. Darren McCormack's dropped off just a touch as Felix van Delft I didn't like. As Darren McCormack, he's close enough, but just can't go for that move down to T1. Speaking of moves, same as always.
Well, again, defended well by Kevin Siggy, and that's a fifth attempt there from Joshua Rogers, who is bound to be getting really frustrated with the fact that he can't get past this Team Redline BMW. Kevin Siggy still making it a Redline 1 and 3. Their other sister car, Luke Bennett, still trying to lock horns with Kevin Ellis Jr., but there's quite the gap in between those two as well, stretching to nearly a whole second as we ride on board with Joshua Rogers. See him in the top right of your screen now. And no doubt, feeling the pinch. Just look at the front two and how far they've careered away through the field. It's just over 2 seconds now between Kevin Siggy and Dara McCormack in second place, and is continuing actually to go outwards. I would say that Siggy is definitely committed to the defensive drive here at this point, Lewis.
He's just doing so well at the moment, is Kevin Siggy, to hang on a third. And do remember, this will, 3 points is what he needed to move within a race victory of finalist mode, which is great. Fair enough. Obviously, with where he's currently running in the race, he's going to be scoring a lot more than just the 3 points. It'd be 16 for third position, which will move him very comfortably up there. And do remember as well, so again, I'm not naming names, but someone did suggest, as we ride on board with the very, very loud Joshua Rogers in his Porsche Commander down towards the first corner. But Kevin Siggy, who currently runs in third position, he's been on podium in all 4 of the races so far. Can he make it? Sorry, all 3 of the races so far. Can he make it 4 from 4? Sorry, that Porsche was so loud I couldn't even think.
Yeah, well, he also tried yet another move this time, though. I think just overcooked it ever so slightly. Was quite late on the brakes coming in towards turn 1. Again, maybe a display of frustration on part of one Josh Rogers, still pursuing after Siggy, but now the gap between he and Benneker is reduced, so Benneker might become the threat this time in his very own BMW. So Rogers with a bit of a dilemma on his hands. Kaiki Oliveira having a great race, sat in 6th spot as well with Kevin Ellis Jr. Just tracking them in behind. Has got a fairly equal gap in between cars that are in front and cars that are behind. That's one behind being Luke Bennett, who has managed to claw within that 1 second gap that was, as we ride on board here with Joshua Rogers coming through the very tight chicane once again. Nip and tuck between them. Kevin Siggy still working hard to keep this Porsche in behind. But just look at the gap between Siggy now in the top end, 2.8, and it's approximately 2.3 between Siggy and McCormack.
Yes, indeed, as Kevin Siggy once again dealing with the pressures of Josh Rogers. To be fair, I don't see a way through for Josh Rogers to get ready for the final lap. Once again, a look to the inside. He's trying something different, trying to get him offline, going through that final corner. You and O'Leary did say that Kevin Siggy wasn't consistent enough to win this thing. That's fine. I'll throw him under the bus. It's okay. But 4 consecutive podiums could be on the horizon for him. It could be 3 consecutive victories, though, for Sebastian Job, unless Dara McCormack can do something. Final lap here at the Fuji Speedway. And where is the move going to come? The defensive line once more. Is there going to be the cover, though? As once again, Josh Rogers commits to the outside. Max Benneker's on the scene as he heads down into the final turn. And it will be Kevin Siggy hanging on to third.
But will Joshua Rogers try something elsewhere? Will he now try and land a blow at another portion of this circuit? Final lap well and truly underway. Sebastian Job has careered onwards. Dara McCormack with the fastest lap. Can that translate to a late overtake at the very last gasp moment here at Mount Fuji? Of course, at this point, Sebastian Job on for a tremendous treble that could yet escalate his own position in this Drivers' Championship into a position of potential victory. Of course, we still have a long way to go. Kevin Siggy also in the window of now qualifying for finalist mode very soon as well, but Joshua Rogers doing his utmost to try and stop that from happening. But at this rate, Sebastian Job showing once again all of his dominance on the cusp, Lewis McGlade, of one sensational treble.
Yeah, indeed. He is absolutely flying. And he himself, by the way, with this victory, will be 1 victory away from finalist mode. He'll be on 146 points. And Sebastian Job is on a mission. Here comes, though, the big send from Joshua Rogers. The up and under, there's contact between the two. And Kevin Siggy comes straight back through. But in the backdrop of Mount Fuji, it's going to be Sebastian Job to come across the line and claim 3 from 3. A drag race, though, for third. We'll see Kevin Siggy and Josh Rogers come up towards the line. Job will cross it as the victor. McCormack in second, but who on earth is in third? I think it's going to be Joshua Rogers denying 4 consecutive podiums for Kevin Siggy.
Absolutely outrageous scenes, but the treble on hand here for Sebastian Job. 3's the magic number